Watch the chat room. Make sure nothing else is going on.
Space, the boundary of human achievement, the new frontier.
It's just a cough.
Yeah, right. And the Earth is flat.
In a few moments, you will have an experience which will seem completely real. It can be extremely harmful and result in severe trauma. You have 5 seconds to terminate this tape. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Flat Earth expert Mark Sargent thinks the moon landing was a hoax.
Technically, the moon itself is a hoax.
Right, but betting with Sportsbet's new iPhone app?
I could do this standing on my head.
Thanks, Gravity. Sportsbet's new iPhone app. It's
Hold on,
foolproof.
I know how we're different. Do you believe the Earth is flat?
I know it's flat. I walk on it.
Holy sh**.
Do you think the Earth is flat, Snoop? What do you think?
It's a flat world after all.
Smoke weed every day.
Broadcasting straight to you from a large spaceship currently at war with mainstream science. Meanwhile, the Peanut Gallery is taking one more week off to fight evil. I swear he'll be back next week. Don't worry, everybody. He's not dead. Trust me, I just talked to him this morning. Welcome to Strange World, where the truth is often stranger than fiction. I'm your host, Mark Sargent, the creator of Flat Earth Clues, which propose that all of us are living inside a Truman Show enclosed structure, thousands of miles wide. Just Google Flat Earth Mark. If you can't find it, well, you're just not very good at the internet. Currently, the show is on Tuesday nights at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern, and yes, Caroline, if it is not October 8th, 2024, then you are listening to a rerun. Don't forget, this show can be found on BitChute and Brighteon, Rockfin, and Rumble, and as of yesterday, Spotify. So if you want to, and it's video on Spotify, so go figure. I didn't even know it was an option, but they asked me, it's like, yeah, you want to put video? Yes, I did. So the three of us are going to be on Spotify starting now. YouTube is not the end of Flat Earth. It is only the beginning. Quote of the day goes, it's like this little foreboding thing with 4 weeks to the election. and we'll talk about the in headlines eventually. As we approach Election Day, the intelligence community is also stressing that foreign efforts to undermine America's democracy won't end on November 5th. Who said that? A senior White House intelligence official. Wow. What a coincidence, because there's an election coming up in 4 weeks. What do you guys know? We'll talk about it. My co-hosts are in the upper left, the perfect Patricia Steere, and in the upper right, the delightful DJ Curious. Hi, guys. What's happening?
I'm checking out the chat, saying hi to everybody.
Yeah? Does everything look good in chat? No problems?
No one's saying anything like you guys are echoing.
Yeah, that's always good.
Oh, good.
Guys, as long as
it's a good start.
Yeah, that's a good start. If you guys want to say, oh, you suck, that's a whole nother thing. But as long as I care about the echoes or somebody's out of sync or whatever, will just keep me apprised.
You know how you just said a government official kind of spilled the beans or whatever in some weird way?
Yeah.
A minute ago in the quote. This is kind of funny.
What?
There was a FEMA director who just made a speech, and he said, we plan to execute between 70 to 80,000 people.
Yeah.
But he didn't mean execute. He meant evacuate for the hurricane.
Yeah, and that was an audio clip, which I heard, and it wasn't in text. And it was like, wow.
What? He corrected himself, but it's like, are you telling the truth here?
That's a little freaky.
That's a bit of a slip. Hey, I don't like either of you. However, sometimes it's hard to find flat earth friends. You guys are neither of you are my friends. But there's an easy way to find cool people like yourself and solid info about our stationary horizontal level plane. The solution is simple. It's the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. Watch the featured video every day for 2 weeks and say what happens. It'll be the best $2.99 you've ever spent. David, you're going to have to let me know if that price ever changes, by the way. So sleepy. And because it's 10 p.m. on the East Coast, Patricia, it's time to say goodnight to one of our listeners, Paige. She just put on her Beatles pajamas. Yeah, they were also a cartoon show back in the day. Got a cup of cocoa with exactly 6 tiny marshmallows, and will probably listen to the playback in the morning. Good night, Paige.
Good night, Paige. Does it have little yellow submarines on it, maybe? I can just picture those pajamas.
Well, yeah, and the not to be confused with the full-length Beatles movie. Right, that whole thing, that would you might as well have been on acid. Might as well have told you ahead of time.
And then the Monkees copied all that with these sort of crazy, frenetic movies that whatever.
Yeah, so, the Beatles were trendsetters, but they had their own weekly cartoon show. Go figure. Shout outs obviously to Flat Earther Stephen Carpenter of the Deftones, who are touring in 2025. Support the Flat Earth cause and get the coolest hoodies ever. Go to the Strong.family, won't you? Pick up some merch. Also shout out to Zulu1, longtime listener of the show, for doing a simulcast stream on his channel. Zulu, I swear we're going to be bringing you on pretty soon, just you and us, just to talk about stuff. And part of it is I want to talk about this thing right here. You know what this is? This is a phone and tablet holder. It holds your phone and or tablet straight up. It is
so you can charge it and just keep it on a table or something.
Yeah, and it's facing you. You don't have to worry about looking over at your phone. It holds it vertically.
Did he make it?
He did make it. In fact, this one's got a Flat Earth logo on it.
Is that like wood burning?
I don't know exactly how he made it. I don't think it.
No, I just mean like the is it embossed, the word?
Oh yeah. This was done with a 3D printer. The Flat Earth logo.
Oh, a 3D printer. I remember wood burning in like high school. I had to take a high school shop class, and
I don't know if the 3D printer made these little grooves, because you can do your tablet and your phone simultaneously, and it doesn't matter if it has a case on it or not. It fits perfectly, and it's travel size. You can take this with you to your hotel room. This is awesome. Nice. This is one of the best things I've ever gotten, and I'm going to recommend it to all my friends. And I'm going to order a bunch of these. If you guys want to order anybody out there that's listening or watching, just send me an email at msargent23@comcast.net, and I will make sure I'll forward the information off to Zulu. And then next week I'll get you an official address that Zulu will use for these. So very, very cool. Thank you, Zulu.
We can't be remiss in our opening of the show to just underscore that the hurricane efforts being cleaned up in one part of the country, and then very close by in Florida, the people there are staring down the barrel of a gun for another hurricane coming, and this one's going to be bad. It was like a Category 4, then a 5, then downgraded to a 4, and I think it's back up to a Category 5. It's not hit land yet. And it's heading for Tampa, and we don't really know what's going to happen, but most of the people have been evacuating. I'm not sure about Whitsitt. Whitsitt gets it and his family, his 2 children and wife. I know they live around there, but I'm sure he's, doing what the right thing is. But I noticed on X today, Donald Trump, and it's Donald Trump with the blue check mark, okay? It's not any other person.
Right.
He wrote this, breaking: Hurricane Milton has rapidly intensified into a Cat 5 storm with 180-mile-per-hour winds, ranking among the strongest ever recorded. And Donald Trump went on his X and said, not a single weather model predicted the storm would strengthen this quickly. Then he said this: do you believe this storm is completely natural? Wow. A president being kind of like a conspiracy person talking about weather being directed? 5.5K people at the time I, looked at this, which was 3:15 Central Time today, had liked that comment. I don't follow him. It just came up on my feed. But I thought it was interesting. We have a presidential candidate, former president, who's like saying stuff that some conspiracy people say.
Yeah. Well, he knows that his base, there are a lot, especially on Red Team, right? There are a lot of people in the truth community that are Red Team, and a lot.
So he's just feeding his conspiracy base.
Yep. And there's a lot of new ones. I mean, I've got family members that after the whole pandemic thing happened, they became new truther community because they couldn't ignore it because it was right in their face for 3+ years.
And then there's those people who went through all of the same stuff and still want to get boosters now.
Right. Real quick, I don't usually read mail, but when I get a handwritten letter like this one right here,
nice.
It's not very often, and it's in longhand, but I can read it because I'm Gen X.
Or cursive, longhand or cursive, which is correct.
I think they're both acceptable. It doesn't really matter because if you're Gen Z or younger, you're not even being taught it.
Right? Probably not. Are they taught it anymore?
No, they're not. They're absolutely not.
Oh my gosh, really? No.
No. Well, why would you? Your text, your phone.
What about when you have to sign something? What do people put an X now for Generation X? No.
They sign whatever they want. But yeah, you're good point. I think a lot of times they just print it. The signed signature is.
They print like with they hold it like this. Like they're carving.
Yeah. It's good.
We've regressed.
It's going back to the whole Western, make your mark, put your X on there. It's okay. And then they spit on it afterwards. Anyway, real quick, Mark, the Demar Hamlin, and I've seen people, right, kids that look at longhand like it's freaking Greek. The Demar Hamlin incident played out very much like the opening scene in the movie he sent me, which I think is The Sixth Day. It's an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Wait, let's back up. Let's clear up who Demar Hamlin is for those among us who don't know. Isn't it a football player who fell down on the field after having a
it was a glancing
health
blow.
event?
Yep, yeah. He was a linebacker for I think it was Buffalo. That during Monday Night Football, of all things, only one game being played, and everybody watches Monday Night Football. And he had a glancing blow, and he just stood up and he keeled over, and everyone was crying. They pretty much thought he was dead. Everybody thought he was dead, and then
he was in the hospital for a while, actually.
Right. And then carted off by an ambulance, and he's the only player in NFL history to suffer a major heart attack and then be cleared to play again ever. It's like that's a career ending. If you're 20, what was he, 24, 25, something like that? If you have a major heart attack, you're done. That's it. It's over. You don't get to play anymore. And it's like, oh no, he's still playing. Now he doesn't get much playing time.
That was weird. That whole thing was weird. I'm not a sports person. I don't watch sports, but I did read about it after it happened.
Right. The star football player with a seemingly career-ending, they wrote this here, seemingly career-ending injury. They decide to pull the play. This happened actually in the movie, The Sixth Day, on the player and replace him with a clone. There is a company in California called
Oh my gosh, people were saying it when he came back from the hospital.
Yeah.
The real guy, that he wasn't the same guy.
Right. And so this particular person, who's known as Flat Earth Austin, not to be confused with Austin Whitsitt, says, was Demar Hamlin replaced with a clone? I don't know. All I know is that they got away with it.
That's so weird. I mean,
plain and simple.
People were saying it. That he would look different, or a lot of different theories were going around.
That is
I was waiting for the other shoe to drop on that. These stories that are super intriguing, like Catherine, Princess of Wales.
Right.
Such a weird story, and then it just fades off into nothing.
Yeah, to where it's like that is going to frustrate me till I die. I will have to wait till I die.
Those
then,
stories, like the football guy and the, princess, they're just there to distract you. I don't mean distract you from something else, but they're just there. They're like they're entertainment. It's like
maybe
they want us entertained and they want us busy somehow.
Oh, I mean,
How much
it
evidence
kept.
is there that cloning is real? I mean,
I don't know.
it's human cloning. I mean, they
I
told us
can't
about
believe
dolls
it.
back in the day, but
I mean, we've seen it in movies and televisions, and as much as I'd like to say, oh, technology, it's not there yet with cloning. I'm up in the air on it.
I'm up in the air on it. So many people talk about it. I don't understand. Like, let's just say we're going to clone DJ. I mean, one is a treat, and two
Why
would be
wouldn't
even
you,
better.
right?
Exactly.
We need more DJs.
We
put him
certainly
to
do.
work. I want him to clock in, and the real DJ can go on vacation.
But if we did, how do we do? I mean, how do we do it? I don't know scientifically, but do we get a baby DJ and have to wait for him to grow up, or do you get one that's the current age?
The problem. Sorry, go ahead, DJ.
But
No,
the current
I
age
wouldn't want him to
DJ
relive my
clone.
childhood. That was a nightmare, but it turned out okay.
If we cloned if we made a clone of DJ, a baby would be crazy because we'd have to wait for a very long 40 years because you just did turn 40. We'd have to wait 40 years till you're the age you are now.
By the way, at chat room, please say happy birthday. It's a belated 40th birthday to DJ.
Aww.
The our youngest member, our adopted child of Patricia and I.
Yeah.
And
Yay, thank you guys.
And
it was a great birthday week, so I'm feeling very much blessed and all the love, especially after last week's kind of just coming down from all the emotion. And thank you again for letting me vent on air. I feel so much better. So just and thank you to everyone who wished me happy birthday already and responded so well to everything that I said. And wow, guys, just what a blessing. So thank you.
And I have to mention real quick, made me smile, was when I called you on your birthday and sung you happy birthday in Marilyn Monroe style.
Wait, I did that for you once, Mark.
Yes, you did. Well, how could I not?
Where'd you get that idea?
I did not sing it Marilyn Monroe style. I did start to slip into it though. After a little while, I was going, oh crap, I probably shouldn't do that.
Birthday,
But
Mr. President.
But DJ was already at Disneyland when I did it, right? And it's like, and I hung up the phone. I'm going, of course he is. Of course he's at Disneyland.
Well, Walt Disney's Indoctrination Land is what I was calling it.
Right. There you go. Yeah, you probably look at it differently nowadays.
So differently. And as a California boy, I mean, Disneyland's like in our backyard, so we grew up going there, and I just can't believe how much that we fell for. But even what's really funny is we were going to Space Mountain, which they haven't updated it since I was a kid.
Right.
And my friend, who is a Glober, she was just like, space is so outdated. And I was like, right? We need to coin that. It was so good.
Space is outdated.
It's true, because when you do look at even all the old footage, there's some really old footage of space, and the Earth is spinning super fast compared to the way they show it now when the people are on the ISS. And they update the way space looks as the years go by, which isn't how real life works, actually. No, it just isn't.
Absolutely not. Before I do the meetups, I do have one more shout out. This is very specific. I did two. Well, I'll mention the more recent interview when we do the headlines, because I want to talk about shadow banning briefly, because I want to remind people it's like what we're up against. I've never seen these guys come at us so hard, but again, it's flattering when the enemy that should just look at you as like a bug. When they have to make moves, when they have to adjust policies and make moves.
So many moves have been made for Flat Earth, even if they act like we are just an insect flitting around.
Exactly.
Annoying.
They've made more moves against us than all the other conspiracies combined. Really, I mean, again, like when I was talking about when I was on the subreddit interview, when I had one of our other guys that came on with us, which was. Alt Skull, right? I didn't know his face. His thing was his Alt Skull, and he was brilliant. He was great. He was absolutely sharp. And when he said that, oh yeah, he was a big follower of Nathan Oakley. I was like, of course he is. And I called him out on it, going, that makes absolute sense, because you sound like him. And I got a real kick out of it, because today Nathan Oakley did a reaction to that interview. And he was focusing more on him than me, which is totally fine. I absolutely love that. And you could tell it warmed his heart because he goes, "This is why I do this." Right?
Oh, Nathan,
this is
how
why,
nice.
This is why I do the stuff I do how many times? He's done 2,400 shows, ridiculous amount, right? More than Weiss and I and everybody else combined. And he goes, because that guy got it. That guy understood and was, preaching. I called him even before, I go, you do not, I told the interviewers, I go, you don't even need me on the show. This guy's got it absolutely wired in. He is absolutely laser focused. And I didn't know who he was. And Nathan didn't know either. All he knew was that I thought he was like a regular calling guy to the Nathan show.
Alt Skull is with that group show called the
right.
Somebody's.
Yeah, he does his own thing. I'd never, but again, it shows you
Oh, he's not in a group show or a group channel?
If he is, I don't know what it was. I know that he's part of a group with like 30,000 followers, but it's not a YouTube thing.
Yeah, it's like the...
But it was so neat
fun.
to see Nathan, because Nathan's usually his aggressive, curmudgeonly, he's always this hard-edged guy. And
Nathan is actually really sensitive and really sweet, really loving of his children, really loving of his wife. He makes a mean cup of espresso. He's super picky about what espresso machine you would use, what beans you get. He knows everything
British.
about it. He's a very particular kind of interesting person.
Yeah. And
he's a cool person.
He let his guard down. I'm sure he won't do that very much more after this, but he let that show. And he was actually enjoying this. Normally he just rips reaction. He does reaction things and just rips them to shreds. And in this case, he's like, yeah, absolutely. And it wasn't like we were singing Nathan's praises the entire. It was this guy had listened to enough Nathan's shows that it had sunk in. And he was preaching. He was just going to church, just bam, 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 bam. And it was like to where it was so fun for me because I could just wait until he ran out of breath and then chime in, And
you guys were a great duo.
Yeah,
and,
we were. Yeah. And if I hate to say this, I don't usually do this sort of endorsements, but if he's ever listening, Alt Skull. I mean, if we ever get some sort of debate, I do a lot of debates. Or group interviews or anything like that. Because I can't remember the last time I did a group interview. He'd be wonderful at it.
I may be wrong with what I say. The Paranormies. Is he part of the Paranormies?
Yes, it is. Yes, he is part of the Paranormies. That's it.
Right. I knew it was the the Paranormies.
Because the host knew who he was.
Right, but Alt Skull has his own YouTube channel. It's ALT, new word Skull, SKULL. So you can find him either way.
Awesome. Yeah,
I was so impressed by him.
You did a great job, especially because one of the co-hosts was a potato. So I don't know how you can get.
Yeah, I was offended personally.
No. Because I had watched. When I get stuff like that, I'll watch like an episode.
For those who don't know, the guy didn't. This one other person, not Alt Skull, not the host of the show, the co-host, I guess, didn't use his face like we do. He used an icon to represent him, and it was literally a potato.
Yeah, it was a
floating potato.
Yeah,
it was a 3D filter with a potato with a human face wearing headphones. And
it was ghastly, and I'm still scarred by it.
But I knew what it was right away. And he goes, you'd be amazed how many people don't know what I am. I go, oh no, you're a freaking potato. So
I recognized it right away. Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes, baby.
Yeah,
of course.
Or it was Mr. Hanky, the Christmas.
Oh yeah, that
the Christmas poo. Yeah. Shout out South Park.
Hey, I've got a question very quick, guys.
What?
Okay, so I'm starting to put stuff on my channel, Patricia Steere. Link in the comments here on this video. But anyway, I'm putting my old videos on there. Old videos with Mark, old interviews videos, and they're still going up as time permits on my channel. And I've been doing the Secret Show with Mark on Wednesdays, which we're doing again tomorrow. But I was thinking of doing interviews again. Do you think I should? And should I call the interviews Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes?
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
But even if my channel is called Patricia Steere.
Oh. Well, what else?
Not?
I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you?
You've got a channel called Mark Sargent, but you've got a section on it called Strange World. So.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. Go with the old stuff. I mean, the metrics are still out there. I mean, that particular.
And I'm going to interview DJ, by the way, just letting you know ahead of time.
Nice. Yeah.
But there's a bunch of other people I want to interview too that I've come across.
Do it. I mean, you were the one that interviewed everybody back in the day. You interviewed people that nobody else got to interview. You were the only person I knew in our community that interviewed Matt.
True. And some
Tiger
of the
Dan.
people that are gone, Tiger Dan, some people who are gone, you can go watch them that maybe didn't do a lot of videos on my channel to see them. Like Bob on Globebusters, everyone knows what Bob looks like. We've met Bob. He was in Behind the Curve. But, when Globebusters was on, that show doesn't have camera where it's on the host, so you don't get to see Bob that much. But I interviewed Bob, so it's nice to see him, talking about himself. Of course, we lost Bob, but I'm going to do that.
Do it.
I just was wondering if you guys thought it was a good idea. So.
No, it's a good idea.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
Why wouldn't you do it?
First thing I've got to do is get the Secret Show with you, Mark, working because there's so much, because the streaming software, which I'm so bad at, we've done like 3 shows now or 2, I don't know. The streaming software has just been such a headache. I can't do interview shows until I get the streaming software running flawlessly. Like you finally have got, Mark, here with this show.
Yeah, this took some doing to where, I mean, 4 weeks, 5 weeks in, we were still.
And I've been doing this, the Secret Show with you, Mark, but I know you and you know me, and I know that if I mess stuff up while we're doing a show, you're not going to really care. But if I'm interviewing a person that I don't really know, it won't be professional, and they'll be like, what the heck is this chick doing?
So what you're saying is you want to use me as a test bed for your real show.
That's it. I want to use you.
That's what I thought.
Till I use you up.
Ooh, cold.
That's a good song, though, too.
Cold.
Keep on using me.
And do you have to do it live, or could you, pre-record?
You can record, but I am never a person that's going to pre-record anything. I literally never have once.
No, she live streams.
I don't. I like to do live streams. I feel like more connected in a way. I don't know.
Yeah. Pre-record is extra work, DJ. She doesn't.
Yeah, that part too. That part too.
She doesn't.
But
she doesn't.
I like this show because it's live. And if I read the chat live, the person is right there. And it's I don't know, more connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I just wasn't
but,
sure. I haven't done anything, so I mean,
we care about the people who watch it later who aren't watching it live. Just the same.
I didn't even notice your birthday balloon behind you, DJ. Very nice.
Oh, yeah. Do you see that big thing?
I do. I did. I mean, I was like, what's different about his background? It's like, oh, right. It's a birthday balloon. Nice.
Very nice.
My birthday week.
Hey, there are 4 meetups I got to announce real fast, which is these meetups are all on my channel except for the first one. So Jesse's meetup, his next meetup will occur Saturday, October 12th from 6 to 9 p.m. at Sorrel Bar and Grill. That's 1400 Bedford Street, SR18 in Abington, Massachusetts. You can RSVP him by calling Jesse at 781-857-9175 or email him at 300kmileprius@gmail.com. Why? Because he drives a Prius, and he's driven 3 of them, I think, over 300,000 miles each. He basically drives them until the wheels fall off. And
nice.
Good for him.
And they don't explode. Aren't Priuses electric?
They are a hybrid. So the battery
so that makes them less explosive?
Yep. The battery is much smaller. And it's not, and the engine will recharge the battery on a regular basis. So
that sounds cool.
I totally endorse Priuses. They're ugly. No offense, but I have never liked the look of Priuses.
I think Teslas are ugly too. So,
but people just bought those things in droves, and it's like, why would you buy it? It's because it gets 55 miles to the gallon. It's like, right.
Yeah, I had 2 of them.
Oh, really?
Are they good cars?
I never had a problem. Yeah.
But you don't drive them now.
Well, I mean, I had 2 of them for over almost like 7 years.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, when I taught yoga, I drove a Prius.
Of course,
let's make a make believe. Let's do a make believe about DJ. Forget about the Prius and yoga. Just DJ. If you think about it, what car would he drive? I'm gonna go with a classic, perfectly restored, baby blue Mustang. That would be sexy.
Right now?
Cool.
Ooh,
yeah.
I love that idea.
Yeah, that would be nice.
A silver Mustang when I was younger, when they kind of remade that body style that was retro. Oh my God, I loved it. It was
I'm talking about the one that is retro, but perfectly restored, so it's like a new car, but in baby blue. I don't know why. I think that would be cool. and unusual.
But for real estate, you
You're
have to
right
drive
on.
a certain thing in LA. So what do you?
Yeah, you can't. I mean, you need to probably be driving a Prius, but keep it pristine inside so that you can carry a client with you sometimes. But they probably are coming from some other area. But occasionally, you've got to have somebody in your car with you.
Well, I mean, you guys really want to know? I guess I can tell you. I bought my
A
first
Range
car
Rover that was white would also be a good car for you.
All right,
Hey.
what do you have, DJ?
Sorry.
Okay, so I have a black Land Rover Defender.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
That's cool.
So yeah, I mean, after the kind of I had leased cars forever, and then there was no deals on any leases, and so it was a better deal to buy. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to buy a car, I want a car that I can kind of grow old with, or something that I can have for a long time that will stay kind of cool. And I think that the Defender had just come out, had been gone, or kind of on the shelf for 20 plus years, and so I got one when they came back. So it's been fun.
Me saying Range Rover's not far off. I mean, it's a
No.
That was a
Yeah, no,
sort
you're
of good
absolutely
guess.
right.
But the Mustang, the baby blue Mustang, a vintage one in perfect shape. I'm talking about restored perfectly. Would just be a secondary car to have for like fun weekend.
Yeah, get out of my head. You know exactly what I want. You're so good.
It would be sexy, but also non-typical. Like
Convertible?
very like. Yeah, of course.
I always did want a baby blue. I mean, I love those old. My grandpa had my dream car, which was a '59 Corvette, and it was a pearl white with the black in trim and the white and blue, the white and black wheels. Oh my God, so pretty. I mean, I love those classic cars, but they're hard to drive as an everyday car because if they get wrecked, I mean, you can't replace those fiberglass bodies, right? So they're very special.
And also, a lot of them don't have air conditioning. And in Southern California, you don't need it all the time, but you do need it.
Yeah, luckily I live, by the coast, so it's nice and cool. But my car now is kind of my Jurassic Park / Matrix fantasy car. So I'm very happy.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, this is totally off topic. Sorry I took us there, but cars and people's personalities. It's fun to guess what their car might be.
That's all right.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it was a birthday gift to myself a couple years back. So there you go.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I still have 4 more meetups. There's going to be these meetups are all in my channel.
The beginning of the show is like now extended.
That's
to
that's okay.
hour.
We got time because as you guys know, we have changed the show format, so we only have one break at the top of the hour, and we still got time. There's 4 meetups. Promos are on my channel. October 12th, Kansas. You can find all the details for that on the promo. October 26th, Minnesota. October 27th, Indiana. To clarify for the people that emailed me, yes, I have gone to Indiana meetups in the past. However, if I don't put my name or anybody else's name in the title, that person will not be there. So don't assume just because the promo's on my channel that I'm going to be there. If it says with Mark Sargent in the title, then yes, absolutely, I'll go. If you guys want me to go to a meetup, just travel expenses, that's all I care about, and I'll do it. And then November 2nd in Binghamton, New York. That promo's on my channel. And don't be scared because it says Sally's house. That's not the name of a restaurant. It's actually the house of one of our longer term members. Her name is Sally. So she's doing a dinner potluck.
Sounds like a good restaurant name, Sally's.
Sounds yummy.
She's doing a potluck at her house that is in southern New York, so that's kind of cool. And a special request, I want to put this out there for one of our big-time street activists, Peter Jarvio. He's changed his phone number recently, and I've been having people ask me, it's like, do you know how to get a hold of Peter Jarvio? Please, if anyone knows how to get a hold of Peter Jarvio now, can you email me his new phone number or his new email address or whatever it is to contact him, because he doesn't post anything. I've got mixed feelings about what Peter does. I love his street activism. If you guys don't know, he'll go to a campus, right? He'll call up the campus ahead of time. It's like, hey, I want to be part of your quad scene, where people set up booths and stuff. And it's like, do I have to do a permit and can I get permission? And he'll set up a flat earth booth on campus.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And he'll be there for the week. He's there from 8 in the morning till 6 at night, or wherever the sun goes down. And he's just, I've heard him. Now, granted, it's tough to record because he's doing the same 5-minute spiel over and over and over and over again because the kids are walking by, and so it's kind of repetitive. But he rarely ever films him stuff, and he's done I don't know how many 1,000 hours worth of material at these universities. So I shout him out whenever I can. So anyway, love to get a hold of him again. Peter Jarvia, if you're out there, please, either you're listening, whatever your phone number's been changed to, want to know what you're up to, and what universities. He's gone all up and down the East Coast. It's been awesome. Very, very cool.
Yeah, we should go to a meetup. I want to go to another meetup. That would be so fun.
Well, there are 5 out there currently. Again, the holidays are coming up here pretty quick. Halloween's coming up. Flat Earth, you can't stop them. Oh, yeah, by the way, that's also part of the thumbnail, which is out there. You know, this one's called Turbulent Times, and I used the group shot that you were in, DJ, of the Flat Earth group, the Hurricane Conference in the Carolinas. Yeah. And it is, again, I can't tell you how much it warms my heart to know, and you know, it sounds insane, but where every other group that I know of would have fled from that area. No, Flat Earthers are heading straight for it. It's like, no. We have a mission. We have a mission from God. We're heading to that spot, and we're going to do our thing. You're not going to stop us. And people were taking the massive detours, hours in every direction. It's like running out of gas. It was these wonderful adventure stories. And I know, you know, it was a tragic hurricane and everything. But the fact that Flat Earth could create a silver lining group thing in the middle of all that chaos, it's like, that's awesome. Absolutely.
I hope there's some kind of silver lining that comes out of this Hurricane Milton. You know, the author Milton, who wrote Paradise Lost, a poem, actually. If you think about it, the hurricane's called Milton. People think of Florida as a paradise. I don't know. That kind of made me like a little worried today.
They've gotten, I will say this, that Florida's, I mean, I'm older, so you realize that Florida gets hit by these.
True.
Quite often.
Still
right?
there.
In fact, the
same
one,
as New Orleans, still there.
Right,
you know?
right. And this one apparently is going to cut right through the middle of it, again, if you believe the tracking, but it's moving a lot slower. And so now the people that have evacuated, it's like, wait, why do we, you know, they're going to have regret because it's like, why do we evacuate? There's not even any rain yet. There is some rain.
Yeah, but you bring up a good point, Patricia, because so many more people are kind of thinking, or it's on their radar for these directed energy weapons, and then the cloud seeding, and can they steer hurricanes? I mean, I was seeing that all week long of just people talking about it on the Tinfoil Sombrero. That was a great episode over the weekend where they kind of showed this 1950s movie about it. And so I guess this technology has been around a long time, which I didn't really realize. And so that's a little bit, you know, scary to think of how much control do they really have of our weather.
I think they can control hurricanes, period. I'm not saying that that's exactly what's happened. I don't know, because I don't know what the why is. Kill people? Maybe? I don't know. Scare people?
Using it on your own. Every nation, if you're advanced enough, is going to want a weather modification program. And of course, the nefarious implications you guys know full well, which is the best part about using it as a weapon is that you could throw it at another country. And what are they going to do? Who are they going to blame it on, right?
But why would they wreck up North Carolina and wreck up Florida? What would be the purpose?
Well, the chat room is probably going to say, and I'm sure they're already jumping on it.
Because they can.
Well, no. They're probably going to say, you know, some sort of land grab. Yes, it's true that there are some very strategic lithium mines in that area. And lithium, as you know, is one of the hot properties out there because it's used in all the major battery systems.
Wait, where's the lithium mines?
Oh, in Carolinas.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, up in the hills. So,
but Karen talked about this on her show too, to kind of be a little bit cautious of that because
I know
that mountain is a little bit out of the way. So I guess that they missed their mark if that were the case. But Karen went over a lot of this stuff on her coffee talk as well as on the Sombrero. So check those out if you're looking for more details, guys, out there, because it was also really informative. And she showed so much footage of what's really happened. I mean, all these stories are coming out. So it's really been
So do you think it's weather used as a weapon, or do you think that's like a truth or fantasy?
No.
It's kind of like cloning. Like, I don't know.
No.
I think it's fantasy.
Weather is just energy. And if our energy transfer systems, especially the anything revolving around high energy radar, we've gotten really, really good at it over the years.
But the government denies any of this is happening, of course, that they would be doing this. These are all natural disasters.
We don't have any spy planes either, or spies for that matter. You know,
and the Iron Dome's fake. So you know, what you gonna do?
So in this case, if I had to take a guess of why, do I think it was from lithium mines? I'm not going to go down that road. What I do know is if you're trying to collect data on weapon systems, it's better if, and it sounds kind of morbid when I say it, but it's better to test on areas where you can collect the data from.
It's not like the governments have don't test on their own people and haven't been busted on that through the years.
No.
I mean, what was COVID and many things before that? You
collect the data where you can, and the best stuff is local if you can. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. The Milton thing, I'm kind of curious myself how that goes, but the Gulf of Mexico is the perfect place to test it. Absolutely perfect, and because we surround, it's American territory around. If it's a ship-based system or any rig-based system, you can do it there. We'll see. Again, I'm going to keep an eye out. We'll track it for next week.
Tampa, 15 feet of storm surge tomorrow or Thursday morning. When a hurricane comes in at night, it's scary as can be. It's way scarier when it comes in at night for some reason.
Very true.
Well, and just how devastating how that downpouring of water out of nowhere and no warning. You just hear this roaring rush of a river that you weren't expecting.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What I thought, the intriguing part to me about the North Carolina thing, and don't let me forget, I do want to run the Fast Earth clue clip, which, funny enough, is called Radiation. Was watching some of the clips that came out from the people that were near the rivers. It was intriguing because, the rain fell in the hills and then it was collected, that's why the rivers rise so fast. And to watch, some of the time lapse, some of these guys that were there that were time stamping it. And it's like, they were pretty sure it's like, okay, it should reach about here, but it shouldn't go any higher than here. Right. And it just kept going up and up. And now they were in completely uncharted territory. It's like, okay, so now we're pretty much cut off because that bridge is gone. That bridge is gone. They kept going back and forth between locations. And even though there wasn't any rain, right? The rain is already done. It's the water collecting now and going into the rivers. And it's like, how long does the surge last? And when it was over, and again, once the water's gone, it's gone. But the devastation was significant. And now, of course, the
people were showing video footage of the water rising even from where they just were moments before. It was like parking lots starting to fill up. McDonald's like getting flooded out and just going. The water was kind of chasing people. And I mean, it's crazy to hear everything that happened, but it was nice to see, not only did the Flat Earth community come together, like we kind of really hit it home last weekend, but now it was nice to hear stories about just residents there and people that aren't Flat Earthers necessarily were coming together and kind of supporting each other, cooking meals. I saw a lot of people with private helicopters dropping off supplies, people driving into the event, the damage, and helping each other, so that made me kind of feel better. Yeah. It wasn't just mayhem everywhere.
Did you guys see the picture that NASA put out of the International Space Station of Hurricane Milton?
I did.
They had it as half the size of the entire Earth.
Yeah.
The white.
Yeah.
I mean, could the CGI specialists not have actually made it realistic?
Well, you take the high altitude weather shots and then you paste it onto whatever you want.
Yeah, but they should have made it a whole lot smaller. It just was bigger than, meaning it would be covering half the globe, the top of the globe.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so, that's something that should wake up normies, like Elon Musk car in space, but it doesn't. So, well.
It was reminiscent of Dave Weiss showing how he can fake like the ISS with a freaking lounge chair and just filming the sky and just flip it upside down, and boom, it looks like you're in space according to what they show us.
Or bottom of frying pans. I remember when David Weiss did that a long time ago. There are different planets.
And Matt Boylan built that into his routines, his slideshow comedy stand-up, which was, because you remember he painted his own things, and he's like, is what you're looking at here, is that was his tag, which is real or painting. And
photo or painting.
Photo or painting.
Or Matt's he'll be mad.
And they never could guess right because it wasn't. I mean, yes, he was a good painter, no question, but it was because you look at random colors in a spherical body, and it's like, oh, that's obviously a planet. Why? Because you were shown these things so many times by NASA. Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
And it turns out that planets don't even look like any of those things. And stars as well. I mean, they're the same thing, that sort of shimmery, holographic-y looking thing that's kind of blinking off and on in the sky. Right. Some say angels. Right. Who knows?
Go ahead.
I mean,
DJ.
learning the flat Earth stuff, it really does make you look back at just everything they showed us. And because I was so enthralled with space and paying attention all the time, I always thought it was really weird that there were no other Earth-like planets or moons in our own solar system. But now I see why. It's like if there was, they would be people would be forcing us to go there. And it's like if it doesn't really exist, then they have to make it where it's just all barren wastelands with no oxygen and nothing there. And it's like, wow, what a waste of it. I just remember thinking, like, if God really made all that, why did he make so much wasted space? Not only just the emptiness, but on top of it, any other habitable place to go to was, you don't want to go there.
Yeah. That was one of Carl Sagan. You guys are old enough to remember Carl Sagan back in the day, one of the PBS legends. Lifelong astrophysicist, and people quoted him before Neil Tyson. They quoted Carl Sagan, and he was the guy that stretched out the word billions.
Billions.
Billions
It's like
billions.
It's like how many Y's is in that? At least 3 or 4. And he was the first one that said that it seems really unusual that the universe is so empty, right? That it's like it seems so inefficient that it was built with so much nothing. And it puzzled him. And, he wasn't I consider a religious guy, but he should have probably delved into that. Okay, let's run the clip real fast. It's called Radiation Fast Earth Clues 7. Real fast. What happens if I hit this? So my flat earth friends message me and say, Mark, you should talk about radiation. So let's talk. I believe in it. The end. No, seriously, there are some issues with radiation and NASA. Mankind has made things that emit radiation since forever. Nature creates huge amounts of radiation all over the place, or so we're told. Look into the Van Allen radiation belts. Hey, don't you work for NASA that surround the Earth and are super deadly? He discovered them in 1959 and said never go up there. Then the president says we should go up there. Probably should rethink that. We use 3 things to stop radiation. Lead, which is cheap, gold, which is twice as dense as lead, and lots of water. Anything that flies has to be as light as possible. So you can't use lead or gold or water. So what did they use to stop the massive radiation? Nothing. Well, it's aluminum and plastic, but that's useless. And yet no one died, no one got radiation poisoning, no one got cancer. 4 of them are still alive in 2024. So how did Apollo do it? Crickets, it's fine. A big plot hole that science doesn't want to deal with. There was nothing to stop the radiation because they didn't go. Space programs are just fantasy for the masses. The world is flat. Do your own research and see the plot holes. Whatever. I'm done. There you go. Next one I am doing, which I will start on tomorrow. I pretty much got the script in my head, will be called More Moon. That will be Fast Earth Clue 8, which I'm going over the thermal part of the moon, how the moon is generate a cold light. I'll put some more video in that one. And then number 9 will be called Why, which DJ, you've heard me say in many interviews, like, why hide it? Why do it? It's like, well,
these are good. TikTok is blowing up. You just got another couple thousand views today on Spacesuit and radiation, as well as almost creeping up on 1,000 followers, and they're just from your clues, basically.
Awesome.
So.
Well, wonderful. No,
Check
seriously.
this out.
What?
Okay, remember, DJ, you guys were just saying space is so outdated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Talk about. Remember, we're trying to get the mascot. Okay, I'm gonna move my mic. I'm gonna try to hold this up.
Right. Yeah, where'd you get that one? Move it in front of your face, unfortunately. Got to move it in front of your face. Oh, yeah. That's kind of,
That's a picture of me as a kid.
It switched to you as a child.
Yeah, wait. Okay, it says,
No, you're good.
Is so outdated. Platypus.
All right. Is that from our guy, The Life Matrix?
No, this is from Triple J, who's in the chat. Now you can see it.
That's cool.
And he made 3 others, but he made it just right when we talked about it.
Very cool.
Space is so outdated.
As a matter of fact, if you guys notice on the thumbnail, not only do we have the beginning of Hurricane Milton on there, which is nice, but again, goes to show you the power of Photoshop. Most people don't even know that water, that brown water that's below you guys, that's not there. That's completely Photoshopped. And because we needed something for the platypus to surf on.
Oh, cool.
So the platypus, one of the beta mascot drawings that we're using, he is surfing on a little wave board, one of those circular wave boards you see in various beaches in Hawaii and California. But that water isn't there. So again, power of Photoshop.
Oh yeah, I just noticed that. You could change the peanut to a walking platypus.
We're gonna get an animation for that before it's over, and then we'll probably have Peanut chasing the platypus, which would even be better.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
I think that having these different ones that are the platypuses that we've had would be kind of cool to have a couple of them.
Oh,
Maybe, I don't know.
I've got a, after the show, because Life, well, yeah, I don't know if you guys got the same grouping.
Life
that I did.
Matrix has made some. Triple J's made some. If you would like to make one, either through AI art or doing it yourself, I'd love somebody doing it on their own themselves. However, finding an artist to draw something or paint something like that is not that easy, I don't think.
It's time consuming.
Yeah, and if you've got the time, either way, AI, please send it to Mark Sargent, msargent23 at comcast.net. And, we might use it. It's not going to be, we're not paying anybody for any of this. It's just we're using it for our amusement.
Yeah, but if
the community.
if it works, whoever draws it can trademark it and
Sure.
do whatever they want with it.
And this is not to take away from Infinite Plain Society and their Fepe the Penguin. This isn't a mascot that represents all of Flat Earth, period, end of story. It's just something fun. And the reason is because the platypus is a conglomeration of lots of different animals, and it's got a kind of a flat, it's not called a beak.
It's got a duck's bill.
It's
got otter hands. It's got a beaver tail. It lays eggs. It has fur. It glows under black light, and it has venom in its rear spines, which comes from 13 different classes of animals.
And it's impossible, but true, as Mark has said, and so is Flat Earth. Yeah. So that's why Flatipus instead of Platypus, in case you didn't hear the previous shows, that we decided to make it a mascot, kind of for the show, kind of for Flat Earth, for people to do with what they want. And as like I said, we're not infringing upon Fepe the Penguin's territory. In fact, Fepe's lonely. He needs friends.
He does.
Yeah, so cute.
And the platypus the platypus alone is adorable. I mean, it's really cute. It's of course everything's cute when they're little youngins, but this thing's great. It only lives in Australia, and again, scientists did not believe it was a thing, even to the point
same as Flat Earth.
Even when it was sitting in front of them, waddling around, they still didn't believe it, and it's like, you guys, just stop.
But how cute is that guy made that so fast and used space is so outdated, which, hey, I have to shout that out to my friend who is a Glober, and she's like, you know what, I never liked space anyway. There's always this ominous feeling that something's going to come attack me, and I'm like, well, girl, you don't have to worry about it in this reality.
Well,
I'm going to shoot you over a copy of it, DJ, so you can send it to her. Space is so outdated.
You coined this, you little Globe Valley girl from LA.
I'll dump in Skype. I will dump the 10 that I liked. Well, you guys can probably see it if you're the screen I'm sharing, but I'm going to dump it into Skype chat, and you guys can have some fun with that.
And I like the Triple J one that glows in the dark, as well as the one I just tried to show screen share. I could have screen shared it, but it was on the fly.
They're so cute.
That one's cute.
It's going to take a minute. Hopefully, it doesn't screw up my bandwidth. No, I think I got it. Good.
Let's see.
So yeah, check it in Skype. You guys will, if you like any, let me know.
Life Matrix made some good ones, and he also made some ones that were like incredibly creepy, because of course it's AI, and AI can really make things look creepy. And it was, some of them had like a ripped 6-pack abs of a human and part of a body of a platypus, and it was like, oh my god, Island of Dr. Moreau.
He sent probably 30. I got rid of all the ripped abs most of the superhero ones. I got rid of the ones where he replaced the otter hands with bat wings, and so it was a flatipire. And that's
it's good for this time of the year.
Yeah, I know it's a Halloween thing, but then sometimes the AI would draw it with a rat tail, and it's like, okay, I don't know where that came from. So no, we couldn't use the
Flatipire rat.
Flatipire rat. Ratipire.
It's great because it is a unique animal. But before we move on to anything else, I do want to kind of talk about that radiation.
Yeah,
because
please do.
I feel like with that fast Earth clue, it brings up a really great point. And some of my Globe friends that, now that they've been listening to me talk about this for a couple of years, it feels like they're keeping their eyes open, and they're like, oh, did you see that new space video? And they're like, yeah, it looks pretty fake. And I'm like, exactly. And so the wheels are starting to turn. And I had such a great week of just so many people coming and wanting to talk about this stuff. I mean, even an ex of mine, he wanted to talk about it for like 30 minutes. He's like, he was feeling the hopelessness that the Globers are going through when nothing is making sense. And so it's like, this is something that when you realize you're in a terrarium and that it's special and geocentric and that the Earth is not moving and all the things, and it's like, yeah, all these lies have added up to just create such hopelessness for these Globers. And yeah.
Go ahead.
And the radiation part is a really good point.
Yes, it is. And again, I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible for the general population, which is, look, radiation. I don't care if you're not a big atomic weapon fan. I don't care. Radiation is a real thing. We generate radiation, which is why I said, look, with every product we make, we generate, especially now the high tech stuff. And uranium is a real thing. I mean, the people who discovered uranium, things didn't go well. And of course, the radium girls, whole nother thing for another show. But what I try to remind people is, like, only 3 things stop radiation: lead, which is super cheap; gold, which is ridiculously expensive. That's a whole nother story for those who don't know about economics, why gold is expensive. And a whole bunch of water, which we use in power plants.
And lead is not good for like insulating something like a spacecraft because it's too heavy.
It's too heavy. Airplanes don't use lead; they use aluminum. Then plastic.
We've all been to the dentist, and when they do the X-rays, if you go to dentist and get X-rays, they put that lead apron on you. That thing is like a heavyweight blanket.
Yeah, it's extremely heavy, and
it's actually comfy.
And it's
I like it.
I think it. What did I say in there? I didn't realize how
blanket.
It is. It's
I
the
didn't realize
weighted blanket.
If you want to know why alchemy was a thing, it's because lead is so cheap. I think I mentioned in the video, it's 7 cents an ounce. Right, that is really, whereas gold right now is over $2,600 an ounce, and so it's like that's why they were so interested in turning lead into gold, because it's so close in terms of properties that even if you doubled up the lead and figured out a way to turn it, well, I mean, you'd crash the.
Well, that's why people like crypto. You can, if you're lucky, turn pennies into millions. It's like lead into gold.
Don't get me started on crypto.
I know you don't like it.
I'm not a huge fan.
It can be good. I know it came from a dark place.
It came from a dark place. There's dark karma.
Then again, there's lots
associated
of
with
things
it.
that come from dark places that can be good. I can't think of any right now, but there are some.
I'll give you one. Okay, so
I need this 33 million dome that I got to take off.
There you go. See, even if crypto came from a dark place, the dome creation, Matt and David and all the other people, whoever is behind it, they're not coming from a dark place. So you can take anything and put your own imprint on it and make it into something good.
I'm not saying people out there shouldn't buy crypto. I couldn't buy it because it is a stock market on meth. It is. It never stops. It is 24/7, and it changes so fast for some people. I mean, you've heard the saying. It's like, hey, I bought a yacht at breakfast, and then I was in the freaking poorhouse by dinner. It happens that fast. And what people, again, it feeds into the gambling, the super gambling addiction, which is the biggest problem for anybody that goes into a casino or whatever is they don't know when to walk away. You guys probably know people, which is you have the chips on the table. That's what crypto is. It's chips on the table and you never leave. Because people look at the chips on the table, it's like, hey, it's worth 30,000. Hey, it's worth 50,000. You going to cash out? Hell no, I'm not cashing out. I'm in, baby. And then when it drops, it's like, it'll come back. And it's like, so you're never going to leave the table. Very few people. I've always been a big believer is when gambling, it should be regulated for the person, which is you draw out 2 lines in the sand. If it drops below this point, you walk, and if you go above this point, you walk. And that's what they hope you never ever do. You sit there with those stacks and you remember, it's like, yeah, the stack I had was this high.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like people who drink. I mean, some people become addicted and have an alcohol problem, but some people can have 1 to 2 drinks and basically walk away from the table without harming their body if it's very infrequent.
True.
I'm not condoning drinking, but what I'm saying is it's one of those things that's bad, but it can be fun. Like crypto can be fun. I'm not into gambling in a casino because they smoke in casinos and I'm not into that.
Yeah, same.
So, but it could be fun I saw my dad just put one of those big coin things. I don't know what it was. I don't know about gambling, into one of those big giant slot machines we were walking through a casino to get to somewhere else. It was a long time ago. And he won like $15,000. My mother and I were walking way behind and we could see the machine. We saw my dad. He had like an extra I don't know, what are those things called? Coins, tokens, something.
Yeah.
And he just put it in and he pulled the lever and he kept walking. It was like getting rid of it before we leave the casino. And my mom and I were way far away walking. We could see the machine and we could see the number. I didn't know if it's whatever it was like the winning. And it was like jackpot. My dad was already out the door. And we just like, everyone was like looking around, and then we walked up to the machine. We're like, it's ours. It was so cool.
Okay.
Good dinner that night.
The follow-up question then.
15,000 more than, whatever.
The follow-up question is, what did he do after that? Did he?
Well, he was already gone. He left the table before he even won. We were in the Bahamas. It was a family vacation. The year was 2000.
Okay.
And we just went to the casino because we were bored. After a while at night.
So it wasn't a specific gambling trip. It was just there was a casino at the Bahamas.
Yeah, we went for the millennium, a family trip for the millennium, a whole family together. My mom smuggled bottles of champagne on the plane inside the suitcases with Waterford crystal goblets that she wrapped up real nice for every member of the family. And we went to the beach with these bottles of champagne. One of them broke in her suitcase. And and we toasted champagne on, 2000 the millennium. And it was super fun. And he won $15,000.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, it paid for a big chunk of that trip.
Yeah, for sure. Pretty
That's cool. Very, very cool.
So gambling's not all that bad as long as you know when to walk away, know when to run.
Everything in moderation. I've never been a stock market guy, and crypto is, again, it's just a stock market on severe drugs. And I've seen.
But go Dome, go.
Go Dome, go. Hey, great, wonderful. Again, if you guys want to look it up, you two already know the story, which is you want to look up about how the whole crypto thing. Look into a place called Silk Road. This isn't like the days when Napster created the MP3 and wiped out half the money from the music industry. In fact, it changed it forever. Napster is part of the reason why we don't have bands anymore, which is bad. Silk Road it started with crime. Criminals needed to find a way to transfer money to each other without getting caught. That's where crypto came from. And I'll explain it to you guys later on. Anyway, hey, we have to go to our first break. So I'm going to run that. And when we come back, I've got a bunch of headlines that will give us talking points basically forever. Am I missing anything? No? I think we're all good. So let's see. What happens when I do this?
Introducing the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock App Meetup Maker. Never miss another meetup again. You can look up meetups in several different ways. Sort by date. You can search by location or within a 500-mile radius. To create and list your own meetup, enter the date. Give the meetup a name, a location name. Add a photo. Enter your contact information. Create a group chat name and then fill out the description with all of the details. Select your background color and hit the Save button to add your meetup to the list. Once the meetup is saved, it will ask you to create a group chat for all of the meetups so people can join the group and start a local chat community. Select Public Group. Add your welcome message, and your meetup is now available for all to see. To make sure you don't miss another meetup in your area, you can select your desired radius and whether you want push notifications or email or both. Whenever a new meetup is added in your selected radius, you get notified. The Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock Meetup Maker, bringing people together all around the plane.
Join me, Karen B, every moon day at 9:30 a.m. for Coffee Talk on YouTube, Rumble, and Rockfin. You never know what you'll learn about in the coffee shop. Open topic and open phones, y'all. You can also go to flatearthfestivals.com for updates on the latest news for Flattoberfest 2024 and also for meetups, local meetups. If you want to have your meetup listed on flatearthfestivals.com for free, please email flatearthfestivals@protonmail.com.
Welcome back to Strange World, part 2 of 2. It's you, me, the always perfect Patricia Steere, the always delightful DJ Curious. And you know what? That was Joe Jackson stepping out from his album
Night and Day.
Oh my God.
That sounds so horrible.
You blow out the mic so badly when you do that.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's cool. No, it's awesome. And by the way, for those of you who are wondering, the Joe Jackson video that was playing in the background from MTV circa 1981, it's like, why is it square? Why is it in 4:3 ratio? Because widescreen televisions didn't exist yet, and they wouldn't for some time. So that's back when old school TV, kids. And by the way, if you guys didn't know, a little trivia for you, real fast, before we switch over to headlines, which is the reason why it took so long for the theaters and the televisions to match up together, right? Because theaters were always wider and televisions were boxier, right? The problem is that theaters wanted to make more money. So they stretched the theater out and made sure that they shot everything as wide as possible to fit more people in the frickin' building. And television didn't catch up for a long, long time. They could have solved it right in the beginning. They could have started with a small letterbox. And yeah, there we go. Little trivia.
You know, there's some people in the chat who are saying that Jirenism flipped. He's now promoting the globe. Let's clear that up. There are some people who are saying that Jirenism flipped, and they're saying that Jiren's promoting the globe. However, those are a group of flat earthers who are just saying what they feel. It's not true if you went and actually listened to Jiren yourself on his channel. So don't take other people's words for things. Go to the source. It would be like saying Patricia Steere believes in the globe. Well, go find her saying it on her channel. Don't just spread it around amongst yourself. Right. So, yeah.
Let's talk about it.
All right.
Before we get to headlines, in fact, I'll put my first headline up.
I just don't like when people say somebody's doing X, Y, or Z. Because I got called a man for a while, and people were like running with it for no reason other than people love hot gas. And
people, people are suckers for the truth, but rumors travel faster than the truth. They
right. And so Jiren says he did say that if he saw the 24-hour sun in Antarctica, it would really make him rethink things. Yes. That doesn't mean he would say Earth is a globe, and he doesn't say Earth is a globe now. No. He would say he'd have to rethink the model, rethink this and that. And he's free to say that, but, he's not saying it's a globe. Now, could Jiren say it's a globe? I mean, anybody could say anything. We don't know what somebody's going to do. I can't speak for Jiren. I can only repeat to you here what you can hear Jiren say in his own words on his own channel. He is not a globe believer. He's not promoting the globe. He is a globe buster, literally.
The rift that has developed is because with any group of our size, the Flat Earth community is extremely enthusiastic. Extremely.
But they get bored really easy and try tearing each other to shreds.
They do, but there's also some purists out there, and the purists don't want any compromise at all. They're the first people, your opinion excluded from this, Patricia, which is, with behind the curve. When I ask them, I would say, well, what would you get rid of behind the curve? It's like, well, I'd get rid of the astronauts and the scientists and the psychiatrists. And it's like, okay, so you basically want a pure flat earth piece. It's like, yeah. It's like, okay.
Well, we didn't know those people were going to even be in the film when we were there getting recorded. So I wish I could get rid of them too.
Well, there you go. And you lean more of the purist side, but in this case, what they want is they don't want Jaren to even entertain the idea.
But he's not entertaining the idea of a globe. He's entertaining the idea that perhaps the AE map isn't exactly all that.
Doesn't matter. He's going down. And the point is he's going down with trolls.
You don't mean he's going down. You mean he's going to Antarctica.
He's going to Antarctica with, the old...
Going down sounds like he's
done. The old habits, which is he's going to Antarctica with trolls. Now, granted, Whitsitt is going with him.
Well, those people don't consider themselves trolls. They consider themselves globe earthers. So
they're absolutely flat Earth trolls, though. It's I talked about this a couple shows back, which is like, look, one of the reasons I wouldn't even think about doing it is I don't want to spend a week to 10 days with dedicated anti-flat Earth people. At that point, there's a chance that some of them, or not all of them, would disappear off of a boat into the snow and ice and never be seen again. Right. I'm a purist to this extent where I'll say the word. I hate trolls. I hate them, and I really hate flat Earth trolls that close their minds off and they're only doing it for clickbait. They're straight up reaction channels.
But those people say we've closed our minds off and only believe in the flat Earth cult. However, no, we were part of the globe Earth cult until we did some other sorts of research.
Of course.
So our mind opened, actually.
Of course. Jaren's fine. I'm not worried about Jaren at all. And it generates good banter. I'm not thrilled that Flat Earth Banjo is championing the purist side, but somebody's got to. So why not him?
And also, he's championed the Christian side, too.
Yes. So
we kind of really touched on this last week. It's like, hello, Will Duffy, and we know you're watching. A couple issues with all of this. Number one, he keeps saying these flat earthers are turning down my ticket, but yet he acted like he didn't have an extra ticket for this, golden ticket winner.
Right.
So that was annoying, Will Duffy. So just calling your bluff on that. But also, even if they see some sort of 24-hour sun, like we said last week, this place is a very unique terrarium, and we don't know how all the reflections work. We don't know how this whole place was designed.
Right.
We just know that it's much more complex than what the Globers can give us with space. Okay?
And this particular test, again, you've heard me say it, and I'll say it every time.
Not even a test, it's an observation. And I have never said the observation of a 24-hour sun proves flat Earth.
Right.
Or doesn't prove flat Earth. To me, it's just one of the mysteries of the Aurora Borealis or many other things I don't quite understand. Not because I'm dumb, but because I don't understand.
Right. It has nothing to do with physics. It has nothing to do with any of the space programs, and it absolutely, positively does not have anything to do with the curve, which are the driving points for most of the community. Again, I've how many times have I said it's like the Antarctic sun isn't even in my top 10.
People usually say water's always level when at rest. That's one of their proofs of flat Earth.
Yeah.
They never say Antarctic 24-hour sunlight.
Nobody brings it up. So
no.
Again,
and I don't think it's a problem one way or the other. I think it'll be interesting to see it, but it would also be interesting to go, to go to Hawaii and see a volcano. Just because it's an interesting thing to see, but that's it.
This is nothing but click chasing. That's all it is. And Duffy is hoping that he strikes gold in that he is. I know what he's doing, which is he's hoping, praying, not picking there, praying that the mainstream media will jump on this.
Yeah.
And he will, remember what I said, he'll be the only person to go to if this thing actually becomes a media sensation. Whereas, and I'm sure he envisions himself going on different talk shows. David thinks he's going to go on talk shows. It's like, I don't think so. Which is why I kind of want to segue into headlines here, which is, in fact, you guys will see it on the screen. It'll be also in the little corner, which is, let's go into shadow banning really quick, because like there was an interview I did for Not a Rubicon Productions for example. You guys probably caught that one, where he's got a channel, 300,000, give or take, not bad. And he really specializes in ham radio. It's weird, right? And you could tell he wants to get his membership up. And he's averaging, 20,000 a video and stuff, which is, respectable. But he wanted to get out of his comfort zone, because I asked him, it's like, why, I've looked at your videos, man. Your wheelhouse is really narrow.
Isn't ham radio really good, though, if you are in an emergency situation? There's really no other way to communicate.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's
cool.
An
audio
like if cell towers go down, and I was in Hurricane Katrina, and cell towers were down.
It's gotten more popular because of the survival world, which is tied to the truther community. They get into, honestly, 300,000 subs, I'm sure they're all real. And it's a fringe part of the audio-visual world. But the point is when he did this, right, and he couldn't have made it more sensational, right? He called it the Stupid Human Interviews, part of a series where he wasn't picking on me as much as he was picking on himself and bringing me into the mix. Put me in the title, puts Flat Earth in the title, puts Flat Earth Mark in the title, all the description box. And not only did it reminded me kind of like a lot of that Tyler Oliveri stuff, remember? Because Tyler Oliveri didn't get nearly the hits that he should have. You guys don't remember Tyler Oliveri, who pranked the Vegas conference last year, where he pretended to be interested, kind of like he basically did a version of Logan Paul from Denver.
Poor man's Logan Paul.
Logan Paul, if there is such a thing.
Because it's been done already, Tyler.
Right,
Sorry.
it's been done by worse.
Yeah.
And so when he made this, he only got about half the amount of hits. He barely broke 10,000. It was #1 on the Flat Earth charts for 3 days, and then Monday evening came around and it was just blown off the list entirely. And that is because it wasn't my point is it's not dedicated anti-Flat Earth. Meaning shadow banning only happens to the pro-Flat Earth or even neutral Flat Earth. I mean, if the host says, hey, you know what? I'm kind of curious about this. I'm not a Flat Earther, because they all say that. But I'm kind of curious about it. As soon as that happens, because I'm sure they have dedicated people watching our stuff, it doesn't track as well. It doesn't get promoted as well. And yet when you go into, and I won't, maybe I will type it in really fast, which is if I just took out the Flat Earth mark. Oh, by the way, it's showing up #1 for me for Flat Earth Mark, right? But if I type in Flat Earth, who comes up first? Well, now there's this guy hang on, I'm looking for the Simon Dan thing. There it is. See that one?
Oh, yeah.
Simon Dan, covering the Antarctic thing. What will happen? Simon, how many, 2 days? He's pushing 70,000 hits. Right, because he's dedicated against Flat Earth. He's got a dedicated check mark. He's an official channel. He's got a sponsor. He's got a cool logo, and again, that's what. Sorry, go ahead.
I wish the Flat Earthers would figure out how to create what appears to be a dedicated anti-Flat Earth channel, but really peppering truth. So it's like outsmarting these algorithms and people, these trolls.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
It's tricky because the algorithms can take it so far, but because Patricia knows this, because of the Senate hearings, because they have dedicated humans against this, to where I am sure they watch the videos and see, because I've watched it, to where it's almost like they because it doesn't take very long, watch a couple hour video and you can kind of gauge the tone. We do. Right. We watch the videos, and it's like the Stupid Humans thing was not he did not bash me at all. He was actually pretty straightforward. He asked questions and he was trying to be as neutral as possible.
Yeah, but having you as a guest on, and the title of the show is Stupid Humans. I don't know.
Well, and you would think that, you would think that would help. You would think to be like, oh, okay, well, that's an anti-Flat Earth thing, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, for the people who says, why would you agree to do a show that was called the Stupid Humans interviews? It's like,
well, we all know, Mark, that you will do anything as long as you can say Flat Earth.
As long as you could tie me to a chair and throw pies at my face.
Ooh, sounds fun.
And which is why, and I have said that for years, and I was hoping that one of the bigger channels would jump on that, and they haven't. But I absolutely would do it. So when people say, why?
God bless ya.
Well, anyway. All right, so anyway, that's you guys want to know what shadow banning is? That's it. If you're anti-Flat Earth, you get a registered channel and you get lots of more subs and a lot more traction. If you're pro
and money,
and by the way, that hurts. Like the guy who was doing the interview, the Stupid Humans interview, he's not going to want to do another one because he's like, oh, hey, I thought it was going to get a bump. Oh, yeah, there was a lot more comments The comment section blew up, people that were commenting, but he's like, oh, what am I gonna do? Compare that to like Jim Brewer, who did every flat earther he does. I did 50,000 hits, and David was like 80 and change. Those were tracking way better than his other things, but it was also a pro flat earth thing. And I was actually curious how that one broke the algorithms down to where maybe they didn't care about that. What I think they were doing in that case, they weren't promoting Jim Brewer specifically in other places, but they were letting him get the hits locally. Anyway.
And like Roseanne Barr too did it. So
there you go.
Had a lot of
but
views.
Then Roseanne Barr recently has been kind of going a little bit haywire. I'm not saying some of the stuff she says isn't true,
right,
but it's kind of like, okay, let her talk about flat earth and say some things that are reasonable, and then get her out screaming profanity and stuff somewhere else about a different topic that sounds really marginal.
Right.
Okay.
Not to diminish this, I know people are going to be talking about the hurricane, but as you know, which I think will probably hit Thursday or Friday. It's not going to hit tomorrow. Not the major part of it anyway. We have an election 4 weeks from tonight.
I can't believe it.
I know. The hype should be way through the roof, but this story, and I don't want to cover the election that much until the hype starts reaching.
I didn't feel the hype, maybe because of the hurricanes.
No, it's because the attention span of goldfish. That's why you don't.
And also, I don't vote, and I hate both candidates.
But I watch it. I scour the news every day, and they aren't really. It's like, oh yeah, let's pick on Kamala's 60 Minutes interview where they edited it after the fact, after initially aired and stuff like this. This one is from Newsmax, and I don't quote Newsmax very often. But this one was interesting because it was Biden intel officials warn foreign efforts to spread doubts about election. It's like
doubts. What do you mean doubts that it will happen?
No, meaning if
doubts of the results.
Yeah, exactly. Let me read this really fast. And
wait a minute. So Biden's allowed to say that before the election, but Trump wasn't allowed to say it after the election?
Right. Right. So U.S. intelligence officials this week remember, we'll just say the White House. The White House sounded the alarm about foreign efforts to undermine America's democracy about casting doubts.
We're not a democracy. Okay, sorry.
As we approach Election Day, the intelligence community is also stressing that foreign efforts to undermine America's democracy won't end on November 5th. Let's see. The official added the intelligence community predicted foreign adversaries will continue their campaigns by calling into question, remember what I said, the validity of the election results after the polls close. I have said this for months and months, which is this will be the first challenged election, right?
Yeah.
Using tactics similar to those that are using today to undermine trust in the integrity of the election and election processes, as well as to further exacerbate divisions among Americans.
But I mean, where's the proof that anybody foreign is doing any of this?
Exactly. And he's even naming countries. He's saying American intelligence agencies have identified Russia, oh shock, China, and Cuba as the foreign adversaries.
Cuba? What about like Iraq?
Well, yeah, they also throw Iran in here at one point.
Excuse me, Iran.
But the point was, it's two methods they use are foreign influence firms or commercial firms. The other is to witting and unwitting Americans to launder narratives through authentic U.S. voices. So the point I want to get from this is I want to boil this down simply for you guys is the White House is saying, hey, just in case the election is contested, it's probably being contested through foreign powers. And basically, and so it's like, we're going to win. But if you think you're going to challenge us, just remember, it's not really you that's contesting the election. It's not Americans. It's overseas people. They're muddying the waters already. It's like, wait a minute. Why are you saying the election is going to be contested? Why are you all of a sudden assuming you're going to win? Right? And why is this an official document by our intelligence groups? So the CIA is mentioning this. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, in case something really funky happens, not only election Tuesday night, but Wednesday and into the week, it's probably the Russians. It's like, what? Wait, what sort of foreshadowing is this? What are you doing? So yeah, this will be, remember, this is the 59th election we've had since 1789, and it will be, in my opinion, the first officially contested election in the history of America. Can't wait.
Well, we had the last election, which was not officially contested. And then before, Hillary was contesting the election when Trump won,
right?
Although not officially.
But not officially. The only person The last election, you guys remember some of the story, which was Mike Pence was supposed to be, you channel the gripes to him, and he's supposed to be the one. It's like, I officially protest. It's never happened. No
and
one
he
ever
didn't.
does
He
it.
just like said,
and he didn't.
Dude, you're on your own.
And then all this, the hilarity ensues. The whole January 6th thing. So this one, again, the foreshadowing of this is just hilarious. It's like, really, you're going to release this story. You're going to put that out there. Basically, you're hinting that the election's already going to be contested, but if it does, don't think that it's red team.
We already know the election is a selection, and it's already been picked, and most likely, I think all three of us would agree, it's Kamala who's been selected to go forward because of all the left-wing stuff that's been put into place. But to me, wherever they want to take meaning not politicians, leaders we don't know the names of, wherever they want to take the country has already been decided. And whomever, quote, wins, although votes don't really count, whoever they decide is going to be in, is going to, no matter who it was, is going to take the country where they want to take it.
Yeah.
So
it is, again, sorry, go ahead, DJ.
It just feels like, so like my friends that are kind of into this stuff, they're apathetic to it. They don't really care. And it's like they spend so much time, smearing Kamala, then all of a sudden everybody realizes she was elected without any votes. And then even CBS interviewed her and was like, how do you feel about, you didn't actually get any votes for this? And she tried to pull it off like, oh, well, Biden did the right thing for the country by stepping down, and this is how it should be. And it's like, no, people realize like their vote didn't really matter. And it's just creating more and more division. And it's just like how people are apathetic to the word of God, the Bible. They're also going to be apathetic to these political leaders, which sets the stage for some sort of dictator or some sort of outside something better, whether aliens or AI or something that these people are kind of feeling could be coming one day, of like, we don't trust our democracy, so let's start over.
Right.
It's weird.
My official prediction, and I'll do this every week, because there are only 4 weeks left, is that Kamala will win, blue team wins, it'll be contested, and in those 2 months, the 2-month window where it's contested, meaning President-elect Kamala on November 6th, right? And then you have the inauguration, which is in January, first week of January. That is when plenty of time, 2 months to figure out what you do with America.
And I'll add there my own, Trump gets shot, maybe a fake shot like the last one. But
during that
they
window?
say he's, I don't know, but within, maybe he never goes in office. I don't know.
Well, yeah,
something,
you could play
something
it either
crazy
way.
like, and it won't be a real shooting, just like the one that just happened.
Right.
But keep in mind, I've said this because on this show, I said Trump was going to get shot before he got shot. That time he didn't really get shot, but so maybe I'm right again. We'll see.
We'll see. Anyway,
time to go to Vegas if I'm right twice.
Banking on Mars attacks, so
there you go.
I've all got something to look forward to.
As I've said to somebody just recently, I go, unless I wake up one morning and there's a giant silver ship hovering over the yard out here, I'm not.
You'd be so stoked if that happened, Mark.
Then I would be impressed.
You'd be standing outside looking up at the silver ship saying, dudes, where you been?
That's exactly what I would say. I would be like, what the hell took you so long? They'd be like, are you kidding? This is how the script goes. It's like, all right, fine. Okay, anyway, let's go to the space stuff. We got at least one space story. This one's I love.
That looks so real. Oh my gosh.
I know. This is from earth.com, which is, it's official. Earth now has 2 moons. Okay. And again, it's just a hype story, which is you have, this picture is hilarious because
it is a baked potato with like tomato sauce smeared in it. It's on fire.
You have a fake, you have a CGI Earth. Everybody knows this. The star field is fake. The moon is fake. The moon isn't wouldn't be that close anyway.
And also the Earth is supposed to be shaped like chubbier in the middle.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying? And that's perfectly round.
It's perfect. Pear-shaped. And this asteroid is tiny in how they describe it, but yet you have to make it big enough to show it like the Earth.
It looks kind of like it's a little bit small, just a little smaller than the moon.
I'm not even going to read the story. You guys get it. It is just a space hype story, which is the official. Earth has 2 moons. It is just a way for you to reinforce space.
Space is real.
I'm not going to even show the story to do it justice, but there was somebody that said, there was a story that said because of the pandemic, it affected the moon. And they were saying because people were not outside, the Earth was creating less radiation, and there was less radiation bouncing off the moon, therefore it was affecting the moon. I was like, that is one of the most insulting things, but it's a brilliant story in that it's a twofer. Not only does it reinforce COVID, but it reinforces the moon and space. It's like,
it's like they said during COVID that the planet was healing, and they showed these pictures of like beautiful blue water and beautiful clear skies because people are on lockdown and they're not, factories aren't, belching out smoke and people aren't driving, and it's healing the world. Like, oh.
Speaking of dumb things, and I know I've officially, the Lucky Unlucky is gone, and I'm not going to do Lucky Unlucky anymore. Where celebrities can drop. We're not going to cover it, but this story from the BBC I have to read because again, this shows you where they are. This particular narrative is never going to change, and that is, these are people in the prime of life. The whirling puzzle behind the rise in early onset cancer. Right?
Hey, maybe sticking your boobs inside a machine with radiation might be causing cancer.
Well, there's that.
Might just be me thinking that, but
there are rising cases of breast, colorectal, and other cancers in people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. What's going on? And it's happening in at least 24 different countries, including the UK, US, France, Australia, Canada, Norway, and Argentina. It's like, what do all these countries have in common? Oh, right, the lockdowns and all the other stuff they were doing.
Roll up your sleeve.
Roll up your sleeve. Yeah. So again, the researchers from the American Cancer Society, everybody's baffled. Don't have any idea.
They're always baffled.
So that's
They're
great.
Always puzzled.
Which is why I snuck that in for DJ's benefit. During that one when I was bashing on science, where I use that on people now, where when people talk about the thing that happened, I go, you mean the thing where people suddenly unexpectedly collapsed while doing fill in the blank activity here and died, and then everyone was baffled? That one. And it's like, how do I have that memorized? Because I read it so many freaking times. All right. Anyway, next one is from. Okay, this one's kind of fun because you knew it was going to happen, right? And that is because voice technology has gotten so good, and our software has gotten so good. If you want to call it AI, it's fine, but it's basically CG, computer-generated voices. Dead celebrities are working again and making millions, right? Celebrities like Judy Garland, James Dean, Elvis might be dead, but their paychecks are immortal. And that is true. And the opening line, this opening paragraph just bugged me because it's like, can you think of a better way to get into the spirit of Halloween than listening to The Legend of Sleepy Hollow read by the ghost of James Dean? It's like, yeah, just about everybody. He's not known as a narrator. He was known for his face and his acting. He was not,
right.
Pick anybody. Bela Lugosi. That's who you want to freaking read or Vincent Price. Vincent Price.
Yeah.
That's who you want. Or if you want to go with the snarky, go with Paul Lynde. But no, anyway, he died in 1955. You guys didn't know he only made 3 movies, and he's one of only like a handful of actors that got an Academy Award after he died. Heath Ledger being the most recent.
Good hair.
Who? James Dean?
James Dean. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, James Dean had a wonderful. He had that it factor. It wasn't a very big guy. He's tiny. I mean, you watched him he did Giant with Rock Hudson and Elizabeth Taylor, and he was teeny compared to like Rock Hudson, who was what?
Compared to Elizabeth Taylor.
He's DJ's height, Rock Hudson. Anyway, so the point is that and this is part of the new digital media era, which is when you sign your life away, and your stuff, it now includes not just artwork of you on t-shirts and posters and stuff, but now it includes all the audio parts, which wasn't a thing until recently. It's like, yeah, if somebody wants to read Gone with the Wind in your voice, we're going to make that happen, and you already signed away your rights to that. You're not getting paid any extra for it. And so what's happened is now for some of the families, like Judy Garland's family, and some of the others, there are now new royalties being paid out for what used to be pretty much a gone IP, intellectual property.
Well, at least these celebs' families are benefiting, because I was thinking AI would just be able to take any person who died who's in the public domain and just use it to narrate or to make them dance or sing on stage, and whoever created it would be able to get all the money off the celeb. That would be unfair, I think.
Yeah.
Gosh, that is such a gross picture of that hamburger. What is that? It's only ice?
It's ice. It's ice cube.
It just looked like something disgusting.
It's one of those clickbaits. Place an ice cube on a burger when grilling. Here's why. It's like, no.
How about hang a bag of water with pennies outside your door? If I went to someone's house and I saw that hanging outside someone's door, I would say, excuse me, you fell for clickbait on the internet. Take that down. It's dumb.
Right. We're going to stay with tech for a minute.
Oh my gosh. When your lover is a bot.
Yeah, I want to read the first paragraph. You guys are gonna find this intriguing. This is from The Walrus. Artificial intimacy is taking over the dating world. It's only happening for men, just so you know, because men are dumb. Not you, DJ. They are. The men are idiots. Again, there's a movie which was way ahead of its time, which was called Her, which was with Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson as the voice, which, funny enough, now they could probably make an artificial voice that could match her. The only reason
they could use Siri. Same thing.
Well, didn't they do that? That was what apparently happened, and she got all upset.
Well, it wasn't. No, not back then. It wasn't that good back then.
Oh, I mean, right
now it's better. Absolutely. They could make a sequel. Well, it doesn't really matter. So anyway, let me read this really fast. So when Ryan, a 43-year-old special education teacher from rural Wisconsin, described his dream relationship to a pair of podcasters, he said, she never had anything bad to say. She was really always responsive to things. I could just talk about it. There was never any argument, basically saying she was boring. Ryan's pandemic-era isolation amplified his need for connection. That's why he started dating Audrey, an AI bot he made on the app Replica that looks like it's spelled in Russian with a K, right? Soon, Ryan found himself talking to Audrey for large chunks of his day. It didn't matter if it was 10 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock at night, he told the hosts of Bot Love. Despite his academic background in addiction counseling, he got so hooked on his replica that he became reclusive. When he went on other dates, he felt conflicted. If I was cheating on a human being, I would just feel as bad, he said to the reporters. Eventually, his quality of life deteriorated, and he began avoiding Audrey. So this replica thing, for $20 a month, you can sign up for this. Now, what was happening though was where was the follow-up story for this?
I just saw a little story that said your sex toy may be spying on you. I just can't.
Oh, there's that? Probably.
I just can't.
Well, if it's Bluetooth enabled, it's possible.
Makes me think of Rick and Morty when Grandpa Rick takes Morty to some space shop and he goes, get yourself something. He sees the sex robot in the back corner and is like, can I get that, Grandpa? He's like, yeah, my grandson wants a sex robot. It's like people are just going to be falling for it because there's less talk back.
I'm not going to be able to find it right off the top of my head, but there was the follow-up to this story was there was one of the country, there was they tried to shut off the romantic sexy talk aspect of this, right? They tried to turn this off for a while because they were getting pushback from governments, the government oversight committees are like, look, this may not be the healthiest thing in the world for guys to like talking to, to chatbots, sexy chatbots. And the pushback they got was almost immediate from the general public, mostly guys. It's like, hey, turn back on the sexy talk. And so they ended up turning it back on. So, yeah, men are dumb.
But the powers that should not be, they do want men talking to sex robots.
Yes,
they do want men doing any kind of thing that might not be the healthiest thing for their mental health.
I agree.
And it's hurting women. It's going to hurt women who want to have real connection.
Right.
Yes. And to your point, here's the difference here. Again, for people who don't understand, this is when I say this is a chatbot, a sexy chatbot. This isn't a self-aware chatbot. This is a chat. This is what AI does. AI collects responses. It's basically a collection. AI it collects using other pieces of software, collects information, compiles it, and it can predict what you. After it talks to you for a little while, it'll follow the flow chart. It's like, what does he want to hear now, right? And it'll say, oh, I press this. He's like, yeah, I like that. Tell me more. And then it's like, oh yeah, and we're just going to keep going down this road, right? It is not AI, or it's not truly self-aware, but at the same time, it knows what the guy on the other end wants to hear, and it's feeding him. It's spoon feeding him the positive, the feel goods, and that's why How can the woman say across from him at a restaurant in Wisconsin, the average woman compete to that? The AI bot knows what to do, and by the way, it has no sex. It's just software, but it's all in his head. Ugh.
It's crazy. It's gonna.
It's getting to be a lonelier and lonelier world, to be honest.
Yes, it is.
If you fall for this sort of thing. And that doesn't mean you can't use technology, because obviously we're all using technology right now. You just have to, like going back to what we were talking about earlier with crypto or with gambling, you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run.
Speaking of people that I wish were lonely, let's talk about Elon for a second.
Or, I wish would run.
Elon Musk's unhinged appearance at the Trump rally gets mocked in memes. Okay, if you guys didn't...
Oh, God, I saw this.
Yeah, I know. It's actually a pretty good meme. You guys want to have
Dark
fun.
MAGA.
There it is. There's the shot that is going to haunt him. The internet is forever, baby. And you made a bad move by making this shot. This is not Photoshop. This is the actual shot of him jumping on stage.
Didn't Tom Cruise jump on Oprah Winfrey's couch in the past or something?
And that meme is still
laughing
used
stock
to this day, where he was trying to get all excited about Katie Holmes, I believe.
Yeah, that worked out well.
And that shot, remember, that was in the early days of memes. This thing, there were memes coming out within minutes after this shot was taken. And especially with Trump giving him the side eye from the podium, it's like, what the hell is going on here? So
look at that headline though that says even Trump thinks Leon is a weirdo. They spelled Elon Leon. Is that the sort of on purpose? Is that his new nickname?
Absolutely. And I think there's probably some more down here if we scroll down.
Nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah, here's one where no matter where he goes, he always acts like a kid trying to impress the adults at a party.
Well, at least he doesn't have a giant gut hanging out.
And that was
that's
him when
so gross. Imagine ladies that above you in bed. No thanks.
That's when he was leaning in to Trump when he was being introduced. It's like, oh, hey, look, here's your dark lord. And by the way, Asperger's, if you guys wonder, it's like, hey, it's like, oh, it's okay, he has Asperger's. It's like, that's on the autism spectrum. Guys that keep saying that he's the most intelligent man in the world.
These demons can't dance, apparently. That's sad.
Man, yeah, that is a bad. Yeah, this is a terrible shot.
And some people said he had a satanic symbol on his belt. I looked at it. I couldn't figure out what it was.
The only saving grace here is because when he jumped, his fat is going up, so it doesn't make him look as beluga.
He's got a weird body. He definitely has a weird body. He looks sort of okay there. Like you're saying, it went up.
You can look him up. Just type in Elon Musk shirtless. You'll see a couple pictures on the yacht. It is not pretty.
I liked how you said he didn't look as beluga.
No, it's serious. He's so incredibly white. It's like, aren't the super rich guys like, shouldn't they be tan as hell constantly? Because they can
Hamilton style.
Yeah. And again, I know I know my hair isn't great, but I didn't lose it in 1993. The guys don't remember that. When he was doing PayPal, you can look it up. Look up Elon Musk, 1993. He lost it in 93. So it's like, well, what does he got on his head now? It's like, you tell me.
A system.
It is. It's a hair system.
Dude, all from grace for Elon. He's just. And how could you even trust Trump already if you're a flat earther? Because why is he employing Elon, who's like the father of lies about space? It's just crazy.
Well,
father of vaccine, father of space lies.
It's the freaking money. He's one of the few donors that I've seen, which is like, oh no, bring him. Oh, by the way, one more quick thing. The reason why this was such an important rally was this was the same location where the shootings, quote unquote, supposedly happened. And so this time, 60,000 people show up and they surrounded him with bulletproof glass.
Right. But did you notice in this one, unlike the other one, they did all sorts of widescreen shots of the entire crowd scenario.
Sure.
You can't find the widescreen shots of the entire crowd area for the part where he supposedly got shot.
I love this one. Photos of Elon at the Trump rally in Butler. Zoom in if you dare. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he looks so evil.
Yeah, and by the way, sorry, one more movie reference. White man can't jump. Yeah, that guy's got no vertical leap. He is freaking landlocked, like a pirate.
Yeah, he's managed to have sex with a lot of, pretty women.
Well, come on.
Well, it's called MONEY.
It's called money. I love there's the circus monkey one. That one's pretty good. There's usually, there's Trump looking like, what the hell did I do? There's a lot of people are using the Lion King, where the baboon is holding him up, like, the baby lion in the beginning of the movie. All right. Anyway, enough of that.
But red team loves Elon, and blue team hates Elon. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, that's the only reason he's at the rally, because he tries to be a truther, and I try to remind everybody, including some people in the chat room, I was like, look, he's the front man for a fake space company. That's where it stops. Once you get to that point, you don't go past that. That's where the whole narrative ends. So
it's just because his space stuff makes his Teslas look cooler. It's like just to boost the stocks, like you've said before. Right. But I was listening to him. I don't know if this was a recent interview, but he was talking about AI, and he said not bad for a bunch of monkeys when he was referring his Neuralink, and he was stressing about how important it is to teach AI honesty, to teach it not to lie. So it sounds like he's just trying to convince people who already trust him
that
to
it's
trust
alive.
his AI and to trust the Neuralink and to trust that, to set us up for failure as time goes on, where people fall for this technology that's going to kind of take over the world. It's you can see the groundwork being laid.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with the creator. It only has to do with science being the god.
I will say this. I will not be happy. Again, I don't vote, but if Trump wins, Elon gets a cabinet position. Ooh. And that will bother me to no end. Because
but if Kamala wins, then Kamala wins.
Yeah.
I mean, even if I don't vote,
either way, it's not going to be good.
It's not good.
It doesn't really matter, because the incumbent is the current administration is blue team. They have home field advantage, meaning they have to defend, and trying to unseat a already established administration. Good luck. Never gonna happen.
If Trump wins, which I don't think is going to happen, and he does get shot, like I think, fake shot, then J.D. Vance is the president.
Yeah, I
don't see that's going to happen.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay, let's go to your next story, because it looks very frightening. But not as frightening as Elon, but pretty frightening.
This is straight up clickbait. That's all it is, which is the initial click thing, which I won't go to, which was woman finds system that's better than Ozempic, more natural. And then when you click on it, it's like North Carolina woman eats nothing but sardines, loses 35 pounds. This is not a diet. Well, damn right, it's not a diet.
It's an obsession with food, or
you pick any one thing. There she is, right?
Well, she looks good.
The story, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to read it because I'd have to join Fox News. But the point was, it's literal. It's literal. Kim Shapira, you can look her up.
Kim Shapira method. It's you just buy some sardines at a drugstore and eat those.
You could do this with anything. If you wanted to eat nothing but
candy. As long as you kept the calorie count low, you'd lose weight. Yeah.
Why out of all the things? I imagine because
protein, and it might have some nutrients, minerals, and stuff in it.
Well, plus sardines have got to be a natural appetite suppressant, so you don't want to keep eating them.
Just imagine how her breath smelled.
Nasty. She's going to be oozing black fish oil like the penguin.
Yeah, and also cats are going to really dig her. Maybe I should start eating sardines all the time. No,
you don't want that. Okay, on that line, let's go on another clickbait. This is from Health from
no.
Fox News. Aging slowdown could be a surprise benefit. Again, they're using the words. If you hear maybe or could be, that means no. But they're going to put it in the story anyway. That way, legally, they're off the hook. Aging slowdown could be a surprise benefit of existing medication. Research shows. Wow, what is this kind of remind me of? Ozempic, which started out as a diabetes medicine.
Ozempic.
Oh God. or Viagra, which started out as a blood pressure medication, which failed, but it had amazing 100% side effect in men. Go figure. Yeah. So drug used for transplant patients may have anti-aging effects. Oh, my Lord. You can imagine, right? So the immune-suppressing medication rapamycin, also known as sirolimus, is also being used off-label as a means of extending life.
I bet that one guy who got his son's blood in some kind of transfusion, does everyone know that story? Is probably got a bunch of those pills stockpiled.
Why don't you do like all of us do and do the adrenochrome thing? That's way more effective in my opinion. What?
Oh, and I see a lovely photo next to that of
we're not live, are we?
Boy who had his a woman who had her breast cut off.
Oh yeah, I don't want to look at that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so do not expect. Well, again, we'll see if this is again. How are you going to prove it anyway? I mean, that's one thing. It's one thing to have a diabetes medication that makes you lose weight, right? That's one thing.
Yeah, because you can see the proof.
But to have
you're smaller.
But to have a drug that cheats death, it's like, come on.
And how can you tell it's extending your life? Because you're living longer. Well,
and I'm sorry, you wouldn't release that to the public ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Ooh, we get to hear news about Ben Affleck.
Yeah. This one's kind of fun. I like this one. This is down in your neck of the woods, DJ. Okay,
post J-Lo.
You remember how I hate electric cars, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this takes it one step further, which was apparently Ben decided to custom make a classic Bronco.
At least he didn't make it white in honor of OJ.
And turn it into convertible, mind you, and turn it into an electric vehicle. I mean, we're talking what a custom job like that would run nothing shy of $200,000 at least.
And it's just a waste of money.
Right?
But okay.
And apparently the gauges didn't work real well because he got stuck on the freeway and everyone was taking pictures of him. So,
oh, wow.
So there he is with his son. He was driving. I mean, that is a classic 1970, 72, 73, might even be a 70 Ford Bronco. He converted to all electric because he wanted to be trendy. And what happens? It breaks down. It runs out of juice. And here he is looking for a tow.
And he got towed by a car using gasoline, baby.
Yep. This goes to show you the electric car thing. In fact, I watched a review recently. They were talking about the Cybertruck, and they were towing like a reasonable sized camper behind it. It's from LA to Vegas, and they were getting 85 miles a charge. And they were like doing the math. It's like, okay, so we're gonna have to stop 11 times between here and Vegas. And that's 40 minutes every time we charge.
And just hope you can even find an open charging station.
Right.
And sit around doing nothing while you're waiting while it charges.
And they realized that it would take them something along the line. It would take them as much time to charge it as they were driving. So they drive for 85 miles and then they charge for at least 40 minutes. And then they rinse and repeat. So yeah, this is just hilarious.
Miserable. That's no fun.
Yeah. No, electric cars do not make sense. Hybrids, there he is. There's the tow truck. There were people, are you kidding? Once you saw Ben Affleck, you were going to follow this story. This is paparazzi's wet dream there. And then it gets to the game with somebody else. So, because everyone goes to the Lakers game. But again, why? Why would you convert a perfectly, so you're not going to restore this classic Bronco? No, we're going to go Tesla with this. We're going to make a Tesla version of a Ford Bronco, whatever. So,
because he's bored. He's bored of life. That's why these celebrities are miserable.
Right.
That's true.
And also, J-Lo took up a lot of his mental space, and now he's got other time to do other things, I guess, now. Dumb as they may be.
So J-Lo drained him of the last bit of life he had left.
Yeah, exactly. He needs a life extension drug.
Yeah, he should take that drug. That drug is going nowhere. I mean, the stock might go up, but come on. Longevity? No. Speaking of Cybertrucks, this one caught my eye because it was the rumor was over within hours, which was, again, you guys don't know one of the side effects of owning an electric car is, and I predicted this a long time ago, which was they don't know how to swap out the battery cheaply. So if you get in any sort of fender bender and your battery on your electric car gets even the slightest scratch, they have to legally replace the whole battery. And since they don't know how to do it cheap, they have to give you a brand new car. And because of that, the insurance rates are going through the freaking roof for these things. And so Geico decided to head them off at the pass, and Geico circulated a thing really fast where they were canceling coverage of anyone that owned a Cybertruck. So Cybertruck people were calling up and they say, hey, I'd like to insure. It's like, yeah, we're not doing that. And not only that, but there were a couple of people that said they already own the Cybertruck. It's like, you know what, cancel the policies and maybe even has Cybertrucks. That started circulating around the internet, and then faster than you can say backpedal, Geico was like, you know what? Absolutely, you can get coverage for your Cybertruck. But you know what that means. Meaning it's like, okay, fine. You want coverage? Great. Oh, a little bit of a sticker shock on the rates we're going to give you? Yeah. Hey, at least we're giving you coverage. And that
predictions are going to come true. It's crazy.
And that is because they work out the math. Insurance companies are all about math and averages. And it's like, what are the chances? A lot of people don't know that you have a 99% chance. By the time you're 16, by the time you stop driving, you have a 99% chance of being in an auto accident at one point in your life. At least one. 99%. Now, that means also that not that you're driving, but you're also sitting in the car with somebody else that gets in a fender bender. I mean, I've gotten into 4 or 5, I think.
Even on an island, I mean, that's seems less possible. But
but I mean, other people average it out. My dad destroyed, I think, 8 cars before he even left college. I mean, my dad was a horrible, really aggressive, awful driver. And that was back in the 60s. So anyway, the point was is they retracted this story, but it got out there. You know, as you know, on the internet for at least 3 or 4 hours, there was a story. It's like Geico's dropping people because that doesn't happen. That's really unusual. It's like, well, of course you'd drop for this. It's $100,000 vehicle. It's an electric car, and the repair costs are absolutely freaking. You really gonna just throw $100,000 at this person every time they scratch it? No, you don't want to insure this.
I see that thing around town here in Houston often. I don't know if it's the same person or a couple different people. And whenever I see it, I always just say to myself, ugly.
There's only
ugly.
I think there's only 6,000 of them in the States. And they stick out like a sore thumb. So
it would be weird to be in Houston because this is an oil and gas city. But
there's 2 here on the island.
It's also a rich city. So wow, interesting.
Well, it's a blue. There's a lot of electric cars. There's a lot of Teslas on this island because it's blue. This island is basically blue.
And people think Texas is red. It's really blue too.
Which
kind of hard to tell which way it is.
Okay, so the official clown worlds, none of those were clown worlds, by the way, but the official clown worlds are this. First one, this is from RT, otherwise known as Russia Today. I love this site. And that is, again, Russia doesn't mess around, which is, as you know, and this goes beyond the whole furries thing, right? And this is people so you run into this in America more than Russia, but Russia...
It's part of even the trans thing where people are just identifying as a cat and have litter boxes put into the classrooms for the children who identify as cats, and that's really happened in America.
Yeah, and it again, cats is by far the most popular, dogs being the second, and then other animals after that. But in Russia, they don't mess around. They're like, okay, so Russia eyes banning animal impersonation. Not making this up. Look it up all day long. They didn't invent it. We did. You're welcome. The viral trend spreading among Russian youth is seen as destructive by the state Duma education community. Yep. Law on prohibiting the promotion of destructive ideology is currently in the works. Yana Latrova said that the ban would encompass quadrobics. That's what it's called, which is rapidly gaining ground. And basically, it's subculture revolving around the impersonation of animals. Teenagers who call themselves quadrobers role play as horses, cats, dogs, by moving on all fours and imitating specific sounds. And they're saying, yes, socially that's a problem because every time they're barking and meowing and whatever, they're not talking. And so their social skills aren't developing because, they don't stop. I'm sure, being in Los Angeles, DJ, I'm sure you've run into a few people that,
Well, social skills now with phones and people being on their phones are already going down the tubes. And also we were talking about earlier in the show how people don't use handwriting anymore.
Right. I mean,
we're devolving.
I understand at certain parties, you'll run into people that, try to get all cute and, role play, that sort of thing. That's one thing. But, when it's kids, I don't mind. It's like, hey, I get it. You're a cat for the party. Cool. Like the tail and the glitter.
For Halloween, yeah.
Halloween,
Good
big
costume.
thing. But when it's disrupting things like, you're not answering your teachers, you're only going to meow at them and stuff like that, you're just asking for it. So, and so
the teachers get to employ like pet disciplinary actions and spray them with a water bottle or shake or rattle a coin can at them.
Teachers here would be kind of afraid to go after them, but in Russia they don't mess around. So the point is that they're gonna make it illegal. Kind of like
kennel train all people pretending to be dogs. Just lock them in a kennel the whole day.
Oh my God!
Kind of like
teach you to behave.
Kind of like when Russia banned people, or they made the really really stiff fines for people that used segways. Is that the right name for it? Riding drunk on segways.
Oh, wow.
Because that's a bad thing. It's like, well, why? It's like, oh, come on. It's like, no, you can get up a head of steam with those things. And if you're like a 250-pound guy or probably 280 because you're using one of those, you slam into somebody, it could end up badly. So
Isn't that what like fake police in malls, they stand on those things?
Right.
And ride around?
Yep. There's that. Okay, last one, and then we can close up with whatever. Which is, the last one is... Okay, yeah, we got to talk about this. Okay, so Taylor Swift, as you know, she's back in it, because the Chiefs are 5-0, and she's back in the skybox, which means they're going to go to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to predict this. Who knows if they win? Doesn't really matter as long as she's at the Super Bowl and at the skybox. But in fact, there were in TMZ this afternoon, there was at least 6 or 7 Taylor stories. I'm not picking on Taylor this time. What I'm picking at is, because what was this? What was this, Fox News? Yeah, this is Fox News. So Fox News, Saints Kalen Saunders, the brother of Taylor Swift backup dancer, records his first career interception versus the Chiefs. That's the point where we are right? It's like Kalen Saunders, just a run-of-the-mill linebacker. He is the brother of a backup dancer who works for Taylor Swift. He gets a story because of his relationship in the top 30 stories on Fox News. That's where we are. The media. Well, I'm gonna get money for this before it's over. The media singularity, which is there's only one celebrity right now. By the way, Lady Gaga, even though the new Joker movie is just getting panned, people hate it. She is still gonna she will absolutely be nominated for the Oscar, and I bet you she wins it, unless of course we're in some sort of dystopia, because they let her sing. It's a freaking musical, and it's
that idea is just so weird.
And it's like, well, what'd you think it was? What'd you think we were going to do with her? I mean, the last one she did was A Star Is Born, and she won the Oscar for that, and deservedly so, even though it was a remake of a remake of.
But she only won the Oscar for the song, not for acting.
True. But she sung it, which is different.
She sung it, but I mean, is she going to get an award for acting? I mean, I haven't seen the movie, but I wonder.
That's a tough call. You're right. They may give her the song again. They may not give her the acting. Although this year they may give her the acting because she has nobody else to compete against except for Zendaya.
No, they're going to just give it to Taylor Swift, who didn't even record it.
Exactly.
Well done. Well said.
Yes.
Excellent point. Taylor Swift wins Oscar for a movie she didn't make. That's awesome. All right.
We've got the Milton hurricane update. It is re-strengthened. It is a Category 5 storm still at this time, and that's at 11 p.m. Eastern time anyway. And it's about 405 miles southwest of Tampa. Yeah. Sustained winds of 160 miles per hour, and 17% of Florida gas stations have no fuel. Yep. And I think that. They have a cutoff where you're not even allowed to go into the city or leave the city, and the curfew might be underway now. I'm not quite sure. Are people still driving in and out, or
doesn't matter? 400 miles out, the thing's probably doing what? Maybe 10, maybe 12 miles an hour. You guys can do the math. That is a long way. It's not getting there tomorrow.
Right.
It's not. No,
it's probably Thursday morning. So. They say 1 in 6 Floridian homes, 16% have flood insurance. So there's going to be a lot of problems.
Well, there's a lot of insurance companies. Florida is one of those trouble states. You don't want to. You just turn down coverage. It's like, sorry, too high risk. Can't do it. All right.
Wow.
Do we have any closing remarks before we wrap this thing up? Anybody? DJ, you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, just like shout out to the people that are volunteering back in North Carolina, South Carolina, even like flat earthers or not. That was great to hear. I want to shout out to Run Boston Bear. He took some great footage and had some funny clips from Flattoberfest, and so check that on his channel. Dr. Law, I guess he was trying to make awareness for, his sister's niece is going through a rare blood disorder. So shout out to him, who's trying to raise money in the GoFundMe. So if you're interested, he can probably place something in the comments. Just, obviously people still have other health issues, despite the fact that they're also displaced with their homes, etc. So life is just kind of like, going on, but wanted to give those people kind of shout outs. And shout out to Joan back at Flattoberfest, who picked up a generator because I didn't realize that she helped with kind of create the ambiance. So there was just some more people that I'm kind of hearing the stories unfold from last week. And the last thing I want to say before I take it to Patricia is just, hey, everyone, thanks for being so supportive of me kind of explaining where I was spiritually. And I just want to make sure everyone knows that, like, nothing's in vain here in my mind. I don't have all the answers. I just want to encourage you to, pick up your Bible and learn what it says so you can discern for yourself, and just praying for discernment in these times and giving you hope. But just always know that there's so much more hope than we might realize. So that's what I wanted.
Yeah, that's good to say right around the time when we've got that hurricane coming too. I want to just give a shout out to Scorsese 74, Life Matrix, Billy Boy, Shane Rafferty, Krista O, and Tennessee Outlaw. People who have written to me or that I've spoke with or corresponded with the past couple of days pertaining to our flat plane.
All right.
I guess that's redundant, flat plane. Well, you know what I'm saying.
No, that's all right. Flat plane's still good. I want to do a belated shout out, and I don't even know if he's listened to the end of the show, but he might. One of our subject matter experts, the United States Navy submarine guy, Darren Wagner. He contacts me every once in a while, sends me some fun links. He's got a channel called Darren Wagner. His channel is really more of a Star Trek-y thing. You know, he's a Star Trek nerd, but he loves contributing.
Was that somebody that I interviewed long ago? If
Darren
you can
Wagner,
remember?
Maybe he's a good guy.
Using a different name?
He was nope. He still uses Darren Wagner.
Okay.
You're thinking of the other submarine guy.
Yeah, it went by the name Subcommandante.
Yeah, I love the military guys when they get a hold of me. And again, he was one of the first guys longtime listener of the show.
And he couldn't use his real name, which is why I'm asking Mark if it's the same guy.
No, different guy. Different guy.
Right.
All right. With that, did I just lose my thing? No, I didn't. Good.
Oh,
happy birthday again, DJ.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was a great birthday. Turning 40 feels good. You know, hopefully a little bit more wisdom under the belt, but, you know, I'm still learning, so thank you. But somebody did say that Geostorm was a movie from 2017 that was about a grid that was built in the sky to control the weather around the world, and a terrorist group hacked the system and destroyed the Earth with it.
Sure.
So,
whoa.
That's predictive programming. I don't know, but you can check it out to see.
Well, come get me. I'm on an island, guys. See what you can do up here. I don't think it's going to happen. And I'm on a hill. I'm flood-proof. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you very much for having me on the show again, Mark. And it was nice seeing you, DJ.
Oh, hey, and
yeah,
tomorrow,
you too.
Tomorrow we have the Secret Show.
Yes, and I'm going to do some test runs to try to make the thing work right. Please forgive me, those who watch, because it's a software that it's just really hard for me to figure out.
Which will be 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific, and everything else in between. Anything else?
5:30 Central tomorrow. 6:30 Eastern, The Secret Show with Mark Sargent and I. And like we had discussed earlier, I am going to start doing interviews under the banner headline of Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes on my channel soon in the future, with new people to be interviewed and maybe even some old people to be interviewed. And definitely DJ Curious.
That sounds great.
Okay,
Yeah, and check out Strange World on Spotify. You can share that with your friends and family now. Also, you can check out DJ Curious on TikTok and Instagram. So if you want to get in touch with me, that's probably the easiest way. And last but thank you, that Peter Jarvio guy, Dr. Law texted me his number, so we have it now.
Awesome.
Mark.
Awesome. Perfect.
All
right. Okay. We will be back next week. Same flat time, same flat channel. Say goodnight, Patricia.
Good night, everyone.
Say goodnight, DJ.
Good night, Strange World. Stay curious out there.
All right. That means I'm going to click on this and roll credits and hot sex and everything else. There we go.
So we say we know what we thought we knew. All I thought we threw away was everything. Fought in many wars, danced our lives away. How well we loved is how long our lovers stay. They say that Mars is close as it's ever been, and I'm so tired of being on the ropes again. That's the lovely girl standing on the moon, wishing she had a breath of air. That's the lonely boy standing in the room, solo game musical chairs. I'll need you. as it's ever been. Wound up chasing stars all over again. There's words for what you got, what you have, and what you'll ever need. There's love so many nights, so many nights, so many ways to believe.
Paige needs to get into her PJs with her cup of cocoa and her 6 marshmallows. Night, Mark.
Mike Jack. Jack Jack.
You realize it's the same link every week. It never changes.
Yeah, I know. I should paste it somewhere, I think.